Hey, Pascal here, nice to see you again. And recently some people asked me in the comments how I add sounds in the background of my videos, so not just music but actual ambient sounds. And I would say this is a very important topic because sound can really make a huge difference in your videos. So here's a little tutorial about that. So like mentioned before already, sound can really make a huge difference or a huge impact in your videos. So I would say when you add sound, ambient sounds in the backgrounds of your videos, it connects the viewer more to the actual scene, and this is so much better. So I'm right now working on a new video actually, so you get a little preview. This is actually like a recap of my 2018 travels, and of course sound design will make a huge difference there, so I want to use that as a little example. Like I just cut it around 30 seconds of that video, so it's not color corrected, nothing like that. But I want to use this video, this first part of the video, to show you how I add sounds to videos and why it makes such a huge difference. And I use Final Cut Pro for that, and I would say that Final Cut Pro is actually a very good app to use for adding sounds because it comes with this sound library, and this library is amazing. Like most of my sounds, nearly 90% I would say, is from that library. And of course I add some other sounds of that. I will come to that later, how I do that. But yeah, like Final Cut itself, just having the sound library really helps a lot with adding sounds to your videos. So let's get into Final Cut and I will show you how I do that. So here we're into Final Cut, and let's start by showing you a little bit of that clip, how it looks right now without any sound design. I would say that's already enough, and as you could see, it's starting with this forest here, and then it's moving forward to boats that are driving, and I use these boats as a transition to a floating market where you also find a lot of boats, so it's a good connection. And yeah, so what I also did already, I already adjusted one transition, that transition here, to the music. What you can hear is that in the music it's like this, and this fits perfectly with that transition. Otherwise I wouldn't add a transition here, I would simply do a jump cut, but in that case, because of the music, it already sounds pretty good. Let's do that again. So that's great, I would say. But of course, that's not real sound design, it's just a little tip here. When you hear something like that in your videos, in your music, then add a transition, or like really find a way to adjust your clips to the music. So the next thing here, when I go into the library, you find that when you click on the second here on the media library, it's in German language here, the important parts I will translate for you. So, and when you go here, it's called sound effects, Toneffekte in German language. And so what I want to type in now, like right now we have this here, it's a morning, a sunrise over the forest in Khao Sok National Park in Thailand, awesome place. So, and because it's a morning and we're in the jungle, we already have the keywords for that. That is morning and jungle. So I will type in morning because I already know that we actually have some jungle morning sounds here, and let's have a listen. I would say that's a bit too much. It's a bit better. I would say we can use it, but it's not all. I also want to have a jungle sound, so I will type in jungle. This is from myself, but it's not very good. This is morning again. Maybe jungle night. Sometimes it even works there. No. And there's one thing, Final Cut, the library also translates some of the names of the clips to German language, so I will type in jungle. This is jungle is German for jungle. And when we click on that, we have that sound, and I think that sound really fits best. So I will use that at first here and will turn off with pressing V the other sound. So triangle. It already fits pretty good, but when this girl is coming in the shot, then I don't want to have this monkey sounds there. No, I don't want to have this monkey sounds at all. So what I'm doing is I'm just recutting that a little bit. It's actually a nice function here, like you can actually choose what part of the sound you want to use by just using your mouse like that. It's pretty cool, handy feature. So adjusting that a little bit. And because the monkeys are still in there a little bit when I don't want them anymore, I will cut that by pressing Option and bracket right. Then it cuts off there, and you can simply drag this from the edge, this little slider here, to blend it out. So this makes it a bit nicer. We'll also blend it in here by using the same technique. And now you can hear that it's ending a bit too early, I would say. So I'm extending that a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. And what you can also see is that it's a bit too loud, the background noise, I would say. That's why I'm adjusting that, let's say -5 decibel maybe. I would say that's great. And I also want to intensify this transition a little bit by adding some whoosh effects there. And these whoosh effects are unfortunately not coming with Final Cut Pro 10. So what you should do is just Google around and find some of the whoosh sound effects. I actually don't know anymore where I got them. Like I just Googled and I found some whoosh sound effects. I think Peter McKinnon has a sound effects pack with whoosh sound effects, and Ryan Nangle also. So watch for them. I will link them in the description below. But to have more individualized whoosh sound effects, just Google whoosh sound effects and you'll find a lot. So what I'm typing in now, because I added this sound effects in Final Cut, there are some tutorials on YouTube how you can add sound effects to the library. So just watch that and you can add it to that, and it's a bit easier to find it here in the library directly. So let's see what we could use here. That's a bit too harsh. So for that transition, I want to use the whoosh 01 sound effect. And because the transition is a little bit longer, I found out that it doesn't sound so good when I use it normally. So I will slow that a bit down. Maybe to 60%, something like that. Let's see how it works. Definitely needs to be a bit later, so I drag it to the right. You can press N, so this alignment, this magnetic stuff turns off. So a little bit more to the left, and then it's correct. That was a bit too much, a little bit to the right. Okay, that sounds cool. Then the next thing that we have here is the girl standing here. And there I want to have some ambient sound, just some random stuff. It's at a lake, but the lake sounds, like Final Cut comes with some lake sounds. But from my experience, those lake sounds are not perfect for that, because we don't have much waves here, right? So I want to have a usual ambient sound, and I'm looking for that now. What usually works in such situations is a little bit of wind, not too much. But let's type in wind. Too much. So, and for that specific clip here, I want to use wind 2. It sounds a bit like bad weather or in a mountain or something, but when I turn that noise pretty pretty low, pretty quiet, then it's not that obvious and it actually adds to the sound. So let's do that. And as you can see, here I added this fade out effect. So I want to make sure with that clip that it fades in at around the same time. And because we're using it from the beginning, that clip already fades in. I don't need to add any effects here. So let's try it out. I would say that works pretty good. It's just a bit too loud right now. So I would say cut it here first by pressing Option and bracket right again. And I'm adding a fade out. And then let's lower it to maybe -6. Do it again. Okay, that's cool, but I would say even a bit less, -8. And then I want to add some noise from the boats, of course. So I'm typing in boat, and you see boat drive here. The boat drive is not really perfect, I would say, because it's a long tail boat, and long tail boats have a bit different sounds than normal boat. You could use it as well, because most people don't know, so they wouldn't even recognize that in the final video. But it also makes sense to record your own sounds usually. Like when you're somewhere around, just bring the Zoom H1, I think it was Zoom H1, the name of the recorder that I use. Just bring it with you and record some sounds. You can also sometimes use the sounds from the camera, but in that case, it were drone shots, so there's obviously no sound in it, and we have to add it. So here I actually recorded Longtail Boat. Let's see that. This is a sound that I recorded completely by myself. Just recorded that while I was on a longtail boat, so easy to do that. And I will mark it here, and let's use it. And I always overlap it a little bit with the clips before and after to fade it in and out, because I just like it. Not everyone does it, but I really like how that sounds. It's not loud enough, so I would add a little bit, maybe 6 decibel. What I want to do now, I actually want to bring it a little bit, now actually make it a bit louder here, yeah. Maybe even louder, maybe 8. And now you see, like, here I'm pretty close to the boat, and in the next scene I'm a bit farther away from the boats. So what I will do here now, I will add a keyframe here, and then I will add another keyframe, and I will lower the volume here, so let's do only 3 decibels maybe. I would say we can do even less, maybe 1 only. Okay, let's do 2. And then, because it's actually 4 boats, but 4 would be a little bit too much, I will copy that and insert it. Let's do it 3 times. And then I will fade it in from, let's say here. Fade it in from here, yeah. Okay, that's a bit harsh. So I will remove those keyframes here at the beginning to don't make it too loud. Let's see how it sounds now. Problem is now that it intensifies everything, so I have to reduce the noise even more. Let's say -5 and -5 as well. And I will also move the sounds a few frames so that it's not directly the same, to emulate multiple motors. Okay, that's cool. Then I can end them already. So here on a boat again. So I can make it a little bit louder. And here's another technique that you can use to make it louder, especially when you have longer parts. You can simply press R on your keyboard and then you can mark it like that here. Let's do it until here. And then you can just drag it up. Let's do a 7, yeah. And then you can stretch that here a little bit to have a bit longer transition. And there we just raised the volume for this part of the clip. It's pretty easy. I want to do it 8. Sometimes a bit hard to drag with the mouse, but that usually works a lot easier and faster than setting all your keyframes manually. Like, this is really a cool feature. I just discovered that feature like, I don't know, half a year ago, and it really saves so much time. I really love it. So let's see how it looks now, or how it sounds. So you see, just by dragging up and down the volume or setting some keyframes with the volume, I actually make it sound a bit more realistic, because when I'm farther away from the boat, it's obviously a bit quieter, and when I'm closer or on the boat, actually it gets louder. So that's a cool effect here. You can use keyframes for that. And yeah, here I would say it fits pretty good. And here we have this transition again to this floating market. And of course, the sound from the floating market is a little bit different. And I mean, yeah, like I would say it's and the boat sound from here. And we cannot make it too quiet here. I would say it's at 5. Let's see how that works. That's okay, yeah. And then I also want to have some market sounds. Yeah, that's cool, but yeah, we still need those boats here. It's really a more complicated scene because there's nothing like that really. Yeah, we definitely need to have some boats in here, but only very subtle. So what I will do also, I will make a copy of that clip, extend it. It's also floating market. I will actually do it again. I will copy longtail boat, insert it here, drag it, and then I will, let's say, set it to 2. See how that works. It's a little bit too loud, I would say, and here are actually keyframes. I don't want to have any keyframes here, so let's set it to 0. It's set to 5. I would say 5 in the long term is a little bit too much for that. So I will actually set it to 3. That's cool, that works. And then auto market, I want to raise it a little bit, maybe 3, or let's do 5. See how that works. And there, because boats are not really driving with loud motors, I would really remove that. And yeah, let's just make it quieter over a longer time. Same for here. Just doesn't work there anymore, so let's end those clips here and just have the market. Let's do it already here. Just, I don't know, it's not working for that clip anymore because there's no boat really driving. We have some boats there and there were some motors definitely, but it was not like really working. Okay, and then I will end this boat here, also fade it out. It's pretty good, and what I'm missing here is the water sounds. So, floating water, no, that doesn't work. Water bubbles, of course not. I would say that could actually work. Let's integrate that. And make it also very subtle, -10, because there's obviously not so much water present there. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I love it. That's cool. It's a nice ambient sound with a little bit of water in the background. And there's also this scene where he does this pedal inside, and we actually have a pedal sound here, and or not, kayak. So we have this kayak pedal sound here. That's pretty nice. So I will use that part now and just use it here around where he puts this pedal inside. You don't really see it, but I would say when it starts here around, that should work pretty good. Yeah, that's absolutely cool. I love it. So you can really hear it right now. Let's do that again. That's cool. And I will actually extend it because this woman is pedaling as well. And here's another pedal sound. Maybe that works good. I would say you can make that part a little bit louder because it's really not that loud actually. And now it increases the roll part. I don't know why. Let's try it again. So maybe +7. Yeah, I would say let's leave it in. Yeah, that's cool. So that's basically how I do it, and it works for the complete video. So that's how I add sounds in Final Cut Pro X. So you can actually see that it's very handy. It works really great, especially with the library. But I have another tip for you. If you want to have some sound effects, maybe you forgot to record some sounds while you were outside or whatever, then you can go to Envato Elements. Of course, you can also Google and look for some free sound effects, but always look for the copyright. I mean, it's unlikely that you will get a copyright claim on YouTube for a sound effect because it's very short usually and it's very hard for YouTube to find out. But if you want to be safe, go to Envato Elements. This is an awesome platform that I use multiple times per week. And I would say not many people know it right now. So how it works is you pay $60.5 per month. I actually have a yearly subscription there that's a little bit cheaper. And I also got some WordPress plugins with that because I also run a small web design agency. And yeah, so how it works is here I'm logged in and you can actually go to sound effects. No worries, it's in English language when you open it with an English browser. And yeah, like here you have all the sound effects that you want to have. So here's, for example, let's search for something in sound effects. Let's search for bird. What do we find when we search for bird?
Audio jungle.
There you have some bird sound effects. And this is so awesome on this platform. You can download as much as you want. And it's not just sound effects. You actually have stock videos as well, because sometimes just the video is missing. For example, actually here, this hyperlapse from Bangkok. I didn't do it by myself. I actually got it from the Elements platform as well. Simply, I mean, I could shoot it by myself, but I didn't find the time to shoot a hyperlapse when I was in Bangkok last time. So I just used one of these and it fits pretty good here because it's a nice transition to city life. That's why I used it. And yeah, so as you can see, you have not just sound effects. We have stock videos there. Where was it? I was actually looking for that. Let's go to all. So stock videos, you have some video templates for that. So if you have some clients work where they want to present a logo or whatever, you can use that. You have music here. The music is not really good. I would recommend other services like Artlist for it. That usually works a bit better. Sound effects, like I mentioned before. You have graphic templates, you have graphics, you have presentation templates, photos, stock photos. The stock photos are so good, really. And you have fonts. Actually, my font that I use, it's a Siberia font, also from that platform. You have add-ons. You have templates for websites, CMS templates, WordPress, 3D. Like on that platform, there's really everything, and this is what I love about Envato Elements. You pay a one-time fee every month or per year like you want it to have, and you get all of that. You can download all of that for free basically. This is just a no-brainer, especially if you work as a freelancer. You should definitely be on that platform. But of course, it works also for video creators and whatever you do. So check it out. It's called Envato Elements. I will leave a link to it in the description below and also here in the video. When you click on that link and buy a subscription over that, I get a small commission, so you all also support this channel. So yeah, I hope you liked this video and I could help you a little bit with adding sounds to your videos. And for more tutorials in the future, don't forget to hit the subscribe button now. I publish once per week on Sunday, and I actually prepare a 30-day challenge right now starting from the middle of February. So there I will publish one video per day for 30 days. So you will also be able to learn a lot from that. So I would say see you in one of the next videos.